Hello, everybody. Please, can someone confirm that you are able to see me? Thanks very much. Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Suraj and Sarik Hamsi. Thank you very much. Um, and welcome, everybody. My name is Gurumurthy Raghupati. Please, can you confirm that you can see me and hear me clearly? Oh, thank you, Akshayji, very much. Uh, so, just some health check. I am listening to your chat and I will respond. But after every 3 4 slides, I will let you know that this is the place to ask your questions. I would request that you wait for that. Okay, to start with, uh, just to let you know that if you want to contact me, on the top right hand side, there is my QR code. If you click that, it has my email and everything in there, my website name and everything is there. So I'll give you 10 seconds to click on that and get all my email address and, of course, this channel's address as well. So I will count down to 10 and then we'll start. Right. Okay. Now, so the topic for today is very simple. It's DevOps and reliability engineering, platform engineering, the what, the where, and the how. Right. So everyone knows what. So you hear this DevOps. I'm a DevOps engineer, and SRE and platform engineering, but it's not about implementing. You need to understand the what and the where and the how. So I'm going to go through this. This is more of a slide, and this is not for technical people. There will be a lot of videos which will be coming on a weekly basis on how to do it. This slide will be for around 35 40 minutes, and then I will ask. There is a full time question and answer things which I will type in the answers. So if you have anything to ask, please ask, and I will be more than happy. And during the chat window, also, you will be able to uh, ask. Just give me 1 minute. Right. Okay. Good. Thanks very much. Right. So, shall we begin? If everyone can confirm they are okay for me to start, just say yes or like something like that. That would be great. Because I'm waiting for some people to come online. Even a yes or no will be good. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. So, continuing is what is the agenda? The agenda is the what, means what is DevOps, Satellite Rapid Engineering and Platform Engineering? What does it achieve? The where. The where is where does DevOps and platform engineering is placed and where its best impact is. Now SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle, so that's what we do. And the how. How is how to implement and the tools and techs needed for the same. Right? So the what, the where, and the how is what I'm going to explain today. This is just from an overview point of view, and in further videos, I will be able to share code and everything, and it will all be for free. This channel will never make or ask you money to pay for it. Oh, I'm developing a course, you have to pay $5 or something like that. That's never going to happen. This will, all of my courses will be mostly live, and I don't have much plans to create videos because they don't have the interactivity. And I will get some softwares where you can also come online and join with me using Google Meet. So all the things here are happening in the background. Please let me know if this is how you want to see it, and any feedbacks. Please type it in the chat window, and I'll take it with a great amount of positivity. Thanks very much. Right. So moving on next is, what is DevOps? People think that implementing CI/CD, oh, I'm automating things, then I am DevOps. No, not really. So in a traditional organization, everything is run in silo. I'm sure you have seen where every team has a team, where I am a development team, I am an operations team, I am an infrastructure team, and they have a kind of a wall between them where they say, I have done my job, and push it over, right? And they say, Mera kaam ho gaya yaar, my job is done, that's it. They don't care about others, and there is this friction between them. That is a traditional silo by function. In a true DevOps environment, if you want to transition from a traditional environment to a DevOps environment, this is the final picture you should be having. Act as one team. One team means they, as much as possible, co-located or at least logically, where the operation infrastructure development team should be approachable without raising any formal documentations. Oh, raise a ticket for me to do this work. No, just ask them. They can go and create a ticket if they want to, but everything should be visible and approachable right from the start. That way, you don't need to have any delays to do so. Okay. Now, if that is DevOps, what is SRE then? SRE is, think the service from a customer's perspective. What do you mean by that? Means SRE is not about writing code or having a good CI system. No, not like that. It's about ensuring the customers and stakeholders, which can be internal and external, have a CSAT rating of greater than 95. CSAT stands for customer satisfaction, which can be internal or external. Where a system which is being used is very usable. What do you mean by that? That the industry system which you're developing conforms to industry standards like availability, reliability, and security. What does that mean? Let's say you have an online system where you go and check in something and suddenly it fails. They say, oh, sorry, we are out of capacity. Let's say it's your bank or something. You will be very much upset. And what happens is, if it's not reliable, you submit something and it doesn't come, like food ordering. You order something, it says it's been processed, but it's not, and then you don't get the food. You will end up very upset. And of course, you want to ensure that your payment and whatever is done in a very good, secure manner so that your data is not hacked by anyone. So all these three things are industry standards. And to make sure that your system is run to these standards with agreement of your customers, then you are a very good SRE or a SRE enabled company. Okay. One more thing which you need to take care is sustainability. Well, there is a 80-20 rule. 80% of the job can be done in 20% of the money, and 20%, the last 20% takes 80% of your time and money, because you try to do too many things. Make sure that you get the good return of investment. Sustainability is about, if I spend $20, make sure that you get the $20 outcome out of it, which can be in terms of speed or usability or monitoring or something like that. Okay. The next part is platform engineering. Now, if you look at the previous one, when I showed, it was about service and customers perspective. This one is mostly for internal people or the company's people. Service agility, which means enable development, ops, and infrastructure people to have a very productive day. Okay, Akshay. CSAT stands for customer satisfaction. Akshay, I hope this answers, right? And so I'll show some examples a little bit later. Actually, keep your questions. Once you're asking the questions, I will show you some tabs of the company I work for, how its CSAT is calculated. I hope that's okay. Right. Now, coming back to service agility, is the platform engineering team normally develops tools and infrastructure. Where that one? Right. So, for example, ensure develops ops and infrastructure people are aligned. You show everything, like, okay, this is the tool, this is the things, this is what we have, this is the infrastructure, right? Ensure providing everyone the tools and information to make data driven business decisions, goals, and value propositions, right? For example, let's say you have a dashboard or the tools or instruction videos or good document from one place. You don't have to go to 5 different places before you can do that. Yes, SRE stands for Site Reliability Engineering. Uh, Hashmi, if you can expand your question, that would be great. SRE question mark does not, I do not know what that question means. If you can expand that question, that would be great so that I can answer. Uh, I'll come back to the presentation, by the way. So a platform engineering team doesn't have to be different from the development team. They can come and see, develop tools so that I can, as a business owner or an engineering manager and something, right? So, oh, thank you, Mr. Akshay. Uh, so ensuring that the tools and everything is from one place. I don't have to ask 5 different people for an answer. I should be able to hit some URL and get all the things, so that I don't have to wait. And all this provide enough data so that the business can say, okay, we are spending less than what we want and we have this problem, we will do that. Or they can say, oh, by the way, our systems are failing for 5% of the people, we're going to spend some money to make sure that our availability is 99%. But it's a totally, and also value proposition. For example, if you see, a lot of people are never going to the home page, they are going straight to the login page and they want to access the system, then don't spend money on the login page. Just give them, the default screen should be, here's login and do what you want. Okay, so I'm going to pause here for some time and then let you ask questions, which I will see in the chat window. Please ask. Okay, one question I have got is, how is platform engineering different from cloud engineering? Okay, now a cloud engineer normally is, they normally work on applications, right? For example, CI, CD, security, creating artifacts, setting up infrastructure, or setting up environments. Platform engineering gives you the tools for a cloud engineer to create those tools with ease. For example, backing up of your Git repository, showing documentation tools, and all those things which these things do. In terms of, I'll come to back to you in a minute, Suraj. So, a cloud engineer normally works from an application and development side, and also creating the infrastructure which is needed to host their applications. A platform engineer is for an internal person where he or she develops tools which helps development team, testing team, for example, uh, having a set of tools and tech which will make developers, testers, and cloud engineers life easier. I wouldn't say easy, easier. Okay, the next question I have got is from Suraj, which says, in terms of careers perspective, is it like DevOps, then SRE and platform engineering? No. Think about, I'll give you a good analogy. Let's say you like to go to a restaurant, which of course everyone does. If I ask you to eat, let's say, dal and roti for dal and naan for next 6 years, would you be happy? No. So sometimes you want to have rice, sometimes you want to have some other food like pizza or something like that. And from a careers perspective, it's also the same. They are different, and you can do all the three at the same time. For example, look at me. I do DevOps. I'm also site reliability and a platform engineering SME, right? So each has their own positives and negatives. But from a pure advice point of view, I would say the more skills you have, the better. Don't segregate DevOps, SRE, or platform. They are very much tied into each other. And given how the industry is going, especially in Western countries like US and Europe, and also actually in some of the best product companies, all of them are tied together nowadays. So what they call is COEs, or Center of Excellence. I hope this helps, Mr. Suraj. So I'm going to go to the next slide. Right. The where. So I explained what DevOps is, site reliability is. Now you need to understand where does this fit in software development lifecycle, right? DevOps fits in service development and deployment. Service means applications and services and APIs, right? For example, it is of course in application development. In a good where DevOps company, if you look at the modern culture, where they have a mentality of you build it, you run it. You are the developer, you are the architect, or your team is the architect because it's the team construct, right? So you build it, you run it, you are the support engineers and everything. Yeah. And also infrastructure provisioning. So because you are aligned as a team, you do your infrastructure provisioning, you run the application, you do the testing and everything, right? So, of course, infrastructure provisioning is whether you want to do it in GCP or something. You do environments, for example, configuration using Ansible or whatever it may be. This is for development and testing and propagation. Praful, I will answer your question a little bit later at the end. Please keep this question because um, I will explain that one because this is kind of not aligned. I'll come back to that in a minute. Right? So this is where DevOps comes into picture. Now the next one is where does SRE come in? SRE, remember, is post deployment or at the design stage. Once the design or the is done and somebody is building, that's DevOps. Yeah, right. And here in SRE, it comes at post deployment or at design level, where the site reliability engineers say, okay, because of this problem, we need to tune this. For example, logging and all those things, making everything visible. Number two is understand customer experience. For example, if you have the right tools and logs, it will tell me how many times that customer, when they try to do something, they are not able to do it and they raise complaint. So SREs, they look at the service which is doing it and say, okay, looks like the text is not correct or email is not going. And if they are trying to log in something using mobile, they are not able to see. To understand the customer experience, site reliability engineering is needed. And service optimization. For example, if you are doing something and it takes a lot of time and money, you can see where when you optimize. For example, don't enable debug logs. For example, debug logs that take a time. And for example, if you are storing your logs, it's not needed to store more than 30 days early unless you have some regulatory. For example, all the customer transactions, once they are finished, they have to be stored for 7 years. But before that, how many times they logged in and all, you need to keep only for 30 days. So in that case, don't spend the money on that one. And also make sure that if you ultimately are a business, if you are spending $1 million to make a profit of only 1 million, or sorry, if you make a revenue of 1 million, then there is no point in doing that. So you need to look at what else can I do to make it more efficient and also have the most good people to maintain it. For example, whole of Netflix production SREs is only 6. So these are, and don't think that SREs are production support people. No, normally SREs are the most technical people from a Google's perspective or in our company, right? They come from development and infrastructure, for example. That's how I am. Number thing is reliability and availability. As I mentioned, there is no point in deploying applications which are not reliable and available. So SREs ensure that you definitely make the system more reliable and available with not investing too much of the money. Now, where does platform engineering come into place? Yes, a platform engineering would be internal tools and services for staff. Okay, for example, single point of glass for tools and services accessible to all staff. We don't hide things. Implement and create a platform enabling developers to create applications and services. They should give templates. Click, 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 click. My Git repository is ready, pipeline is ready. The only thing you need to do is coding. And if you want to tune it a little bit. Enable SRE and operations people to onboard and deploy services effectively. Effectively meaning less cost, sooner, and on demand. And remove the bureaucracy and enable other product teams. So remove the bureaucracy. Click, 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 approval done. Can this be deployed? Yes, done. Okay. Now comes the question and answer part. Please ask. For example, the where part. If you understand in the software development lifecycle, if you have questions about where all these three constructs come into picture, please ask questions. I'm waiting for them. Okay, looks like the where does not have any questions. So I will move forward. The next one is how. How to implement DevOps. How? Remember, I said it's not just implementing CI/CD. No, it's not the case. As I mentioned, have developers, testers, and ops people located, co-located, at least logically. Okay? Have the tools and process to do it. For example, you can have tools for automated continuous integration testing and deployment, which can be CI/CD, Jenkins, Selenium Grid, and Octopus Deploy or Code Deploy or Code, depends on your target environment. Okay, Akshay says, are there any serial for these roles, or one can work in any or for any at any time? It depends. Yes. Akshay, I would wait for your question at the end. Just give me 5 minutes. And thanks, Harsh, for your comments. I really appreciate it. Uh, but let me please hold on to that question at the end because it will give you a better picture. This is a more generic question. This has nothing to do with the how part. Okay. The next one is version control everything and strive to have a zero manual handovers thing. Right? For example, imagine if I want to deploy a code and if I have to write a long email, get 5 approvals, and it takes bloody hours to do it. And if it's a production problem, then you think. And so my suggestion is a, implement a good DevOps mentality would be to strive for zero manual handovers. Okay. How to implement SRE? This is very simple. Ensure developers and off has have a single pane of glass. They have well-defined SLI, SLO, and SLAs. They work on projects and don't do the donkey work, right? And then ensure that the SREs have access to all the information to make data-driven business development and optimization. Okay, one question has come is with respect to DevOps, are there many configuration tools, and if we need to switch to DevOps, which would be the best in demand? Uh, for all the people who have asked the questions, I will create a link on Google Meet, and we can all hop in, and I'll answer your questions. I want interactivity, so give me some time to do that. Okay. Now, the how of platform engineering is this, where they introduce tools and utilities to automate software development lifecycle. They have a single point of glass for aggregation log, cost optimization, alerting, runtime management. Ultimately, and also host run books and manuals and tech radar. That way, everyone has everything to work for. Okay? And this is how you implement it. Now, ultimately, once you do all these things, here comes the summary. The summary is if you want your organization to have the best agility in doing something, remove the silos, be very customer centric, and they all go in a circle. For example, you will see here it's DevOps and reliability engineering, all revolves around the customer. Don't forget the customer. Ultimately, they are the people who pay the salaries and everything. Okay? So, ultimately, the summary is have the tools to automate your something, have a Spock to aggregate your logs, host the tech radars and manuals. Now, I will let you log on to a meeting. So, give me 1 minute, start an instance meeting. Hello, Akshay. Hello, Praful.
Hey,
Hello, sir.
hello.
Hello. Okay. Please raise your hand to talk because there are more than one people. If you raise your hand on the bottom, then I can help you out.
Sure, sure.
Are you able to hear me and clearly?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Cool.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All good.
Okay. Go ahead, Praful. You ask the question because Akshay is also a personal friend of mine, so he can wait. You can ask the question directly. Ask. Don't need to wait because we are three people. We can ask.
Okay. I have only one question
Hmm.
that I have cleared like more than three companies.
Hmm.
So basically, I am facing only one issue that I have a less percentage in 10th and to 12th. So how to deal with that? So
Okay. Right. Okay. How to deal with that? Do they ask 10th and 12th standard marks?
in the first call, I already asked them that there is any eligibility criteria. The HR said there is no eligibility criteria.
Then why
So
to tell in
after
the
that,
first case? Why ask? Let them
what?
ask, na. See,
Uh, because in the description they did not mention that only they mention BE and something
yeah,
educational criteria.
yeah, fine. See, it is an assumption that you have done your BE. That's it. What happens in your 10th and 12th, you don't need to tell, right? Uh,
Yes.
uh, in Tamil, there is a saying equivalent to like chor ki dadi mein tinka. That's what it means, right? Right? Don't do that. If they do a background check, then they can do. I'm sure they won't go and check. They see if you've done your BE means you have finished your 10th and 12th. That's what they care.
Yes.
Goldman Sachs, for example, these are some companies. They go and check whether you have done your masters. They don't check whether you have done first class or second. They just check whether you have. So in your CV, say don't even mention 10th and 12th because without doing 10th and 12th, you can't do BE. So just mention BE, and if they ask how much marks, then you say this much. चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका है,
Okay.
तो मेरे मेरे दाढ़ी में नहीं है सर करके चिल्लाने का नहीं क्यों, right?
Yes.
I hope this helps. Don't
Yes, sir.
mention unless they ask you to. Expand your CV and mention that I have done this and this. In BE, I collaborated with such many people, and that way.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
Akshay.
Praful, may I add some points to
Yeah, sure,
Praful's
sure,
question?
sure. You can. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say, Praful, that rather than just showing your 10th and 12th, you can add some more your skills, like if you have done any projects and all. If you are being an active member in any community, you are doing public speaking
Okay.
on any events and like you can add some more skills which may some add some values. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so, Akshay, you can ask your next question. Then we'll let Suraj ask his next.
Yeah, yeah. My question was that are there any serial for these jobs like SRE, DevOps, and that last one was platform engineer, or one can get any role at any time?
I, so platform engineering is quite a recent topic, I would say. So it depends on which company you work for, right? But my suggestion is read the books and add the skills. And my view always has been try to implement something and show it to your people. Hey, by implementing this, you don't need to say that I'm a platform engineer, I have done this. No, just say I've developed something, this may be helpful. Then people will think, okay, this is not for development but this is for intra people, and then you can put on your CV, I'm a platform engineer. No one cares what is your title. You have to show that as a platform engineer, I did platform engineer capabilities by implementing this tool. Your title will always be a DevOps engineer, but in your next role, once they see this, you have done this, your title may change. So And it's like, see, uh, from a, I'm sure my analogy will be food oriented, right? Just because you're eating biryani doesn't mean that you can't eat dal chawal, dal and roti, right? You can eat dal and roti and rice, and with raita also if you want to, right? No one is stopping you that. So don't try to. Ultimately, everything is engineering, man. You try to do something, do some coding, and do something. So there is no serial thing. It's all depends on gain the experience, try to do something, and make sure that you're happy with what you're trying to do. If you are not happy, please don't do it. After 3 4 years, if you get bored, get out of it, do something else, right? The only thing I say is this is applicable is for anything else apart from your marriage. uh, just because after 4 years if you are pretty bored, tell your spouse, and go for holidays and make it better. Don't leave your spouse and try to find next one. It's kind of illegal, right? So don't do that. Okay. Is that
Okay.
answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, that suffice. I have one more questions.
No,
Many of
let
the
Suraj
people.
is
Yeah,
waiting.
okay.
Let him do it. Suraj,
Sure,
please
sure.
go ahead.
Thanks for your time, Guru.
No worries.
So I had one question.
Hmm.
So I'm making a career switch from. So I was working as an automation tester here,
Mm-hmm.
so in one of the company in India,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to switch my career to DevOps.
Mm-hmm.
So coming to DevOps, right? So there are many tools apart from configuration management like Ansible, Puppet, Chef.
Mm-hmm.
So do we need to have knowledge of all these tools because there are a lot of tools,
Hmm.
right? So just wanted to get an
Okay.
idea from you.
Okay. Number one, I would say look at the one where it's being used the most, and it at the minute the most which is being used is Ansible. But Ansible is once your infrastructure has been created, so it's a configuration management. So my suggestion is if you're moving, um, don't only do uh, Ansible. Learn Ansible for sure. Don't do Terraform and Puppet. It's not there anymore. So Terraform is, sorry, Ansible is the most prominent. Please do that. But only Ansible will not help you. Learn something like Terraform also, so that it's like I'm only going to cook the rice for the chicken biryani. Someone else has to do the chicken bit. Well, that's not going to work. You have to cook the chicken also. So make sure that you do both the infrastructure and the configuration of the infrastructure. So my suggestion would be learn one at a time for sure, or two at a time. It's not bad idea, but Terraform and Ansible at the same time would give you a full end-to-end deployment pipeline of your infrastructure. Does that
Oh,
help?
thanks, Guru. Yeah, thanks, Guru. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Cracker, you can unmute yourself and ask. I don't know what's your name, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, yes. My name is Harsh Prajapati, and currently, like I am apply for internship.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm not sharing the company name. Okay, but my thing is that like right now I'm in company. Okay, and I'm doing internship, and I'm doing all the things by my own. Okay,
Hmm.
no one going to teaching me. Okay,
Hmm.
so what should I do?
Okay. Can I ask you what
Yes, yes.
qualifications you have? Have you done your BE or BSc?
Yes, yes, yes. So currently, I am a student.
Hmm.
Right now, I'm doing MSc in ITMS and cybersecurity. Okay, and I am in semester six right now.
Okay. Tell me something. After you joined your university, did your mom and
Yes.
dad coach you how to do the studies?
No, no, no.
You did on your own, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I have, I come from I used to be in my university a very good C++ programmer. I used to have very much interested in viruses, develop viruses for good purposes. Do you think I'll get a job if I say I want to develop viruses? No, of course not, right? So when they applied, they asked me to work on a very, at that time I did not like it. It was called Perl CGI. I used to develop systems for web applications, and at the same time I learned by spending time with other colleagues who know other things like Java and everything. So you have to make sure that you go and learn. Don't expect your manager to spoon feed you. No, they have their own jobs, they have their own careers. If you think your managers are here for your career, nope. You are on your own for your own career. You are responsible. One is try and go online. You work from 9 to 6 or 9 to 5 or 9 to 8. Let's assume you work for 10 hours. Rest 14 hours, what the heck are you doing? Go and learn something. Get a mentor outside your office. My best mentor initially was my first manager. He told me to get out of that group. He said, I'm going to lose my best, but please get out and do some other projects because you're not going to on-site opportunities in my group. So if you and there are very few managers who will let go of their good people. So learn outside, wait for some time, be a bit patient. I'm not saying be patient for more than 2 years. No. If you're not getting what you want, go and talk to them and say, I'm looking for some better opportunities. Or go and tell your manager, I don't understand these things. Can I have someone, not you, but someone else to mentor you and show you things? There is no harm in asking. Don't beg, ask. Bhik mat mango. Yes, go and ask and say this is what is happening. If you want to get a good output from me, please help me out. Does that help?
Yeah, it's definitely like helpful for me. Okay, but like one more thing, like I had applied for internship. Okay, and at that time they told you that these people will guide you. Okay, and
Hmm.
once I'm in office, okay, I have some question, I have some doubts, I will tell them.
Hmm.
Okay, and like they are saying that like right now I don't have time that
Hmm.
much, so I will not solve all the issues. Okay,
Yeah.
you are getting.
No. So
So at that time, what should I?
in that case, don't go and say I do not know the answer, sir. They don't have the time. No. You say, sir, this was the task which I understand. I tried to solve this
Like,
problem
okay,
with doing
sorry
this and
to disturb you. Okay, but like I am like, prepared for everything. Okay, like if I'm getting error, okay, I will create a documentation. Okay, what I have what I did and like how the error is come. Okay, what
hmm,
the solution for it? Okay, is it running or not? And like everything I did
hmm,
for my own. Okay, but still like mentor is not like
yeah.
giving me a
Okay.
perfect answer.
And then you need to know how to Google properly as well. And you don't need to have, you also don't need to ask the same person. Create relationships within your company. टास्क अदर पीपल ना सर आपने हेल्प नहीं किया इसलिए मैंने इससे पूछ लिया आई होप यू डोंट माइंड उसको पहले ही बता दो
Yeah,
सर
so like
सॉरी
so currently like मेरे बाजू में जो सीनियर बैठा है उनको ही मैं पूछ लेता हूँ कि लाइक
हाँ ना बाहर जाके
आपको
सुट्टा
ये
मार ओके आई टेल यू वन थिंग even though I don't recommend it, it's see if you go to him or her only for asking doubts, they will be pissed off. They have their own work. But if that person goes for a tea break or a lunch break or a sutta break, go with them and never talk about work with them. नेवर गो एंड बोले सर फैमिली के बारे में सर आज मैंने ये किया आपने क्या किया सर आपके फैमिली में क्या अरे वाह आपको बैडमिंटन में शौक है मुझे भी बैडमिंटन मैं भी आपके साथ खेलूंगा आफ्टर अ मंथ वो आपके खुद आके बैठ जाएगा आपके बाजू में इट्स ऑल अबाउट रिलेशनशिप्स हाउ डिड आई मीट अक्षय द फर्स्ट टाइम आई आस्क्ड अक्षय डू यू थिंक आई टॉक्ड अबाउट वर्क नो I talked about my photos, my family photos, where I went to holidays, and my Porsche and my Bugatti and what? Sorry, not Bugatti, Porsche and my Mercedes. Do you think I talked about? Do you think I talked about AWS, GCP, networking, VPC? No. Relationships बनाओ. यार
Yeah,
तुमको
actually,
अभी तक
relationship makes a strong connection between
yeah
us.
exactly. Okay, I have to stop because I am wait. Other people are waiting. Vijay, do you want to ask your next question? Akshay, then I'll take your turn. Okay, just
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
on.
sure.
Go ahead, Vijay. Unmute yourself and talk. If you can turn on your video, that will be even better. Vijay, Vijay Mystery. Look like he's a mystery. So, okay, that's a bad joke. Okay, till he comes online, Vijay. Akshay, do you want to ask your next question, please? Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to ask with many of the people just there is their question like is there for any fresher if there is a fresher they want to start in DevOps or these role SRE and so it is good for them or they need some prior experience for these roles.
Uh, no, they don't. See, DevOps, if people think that DevOps is the easiest to implement, actually it's not. People think that mujhe coding, if I don't know coding, I can become a DevOps engineer. Yes and no, because everything needs coding. Something has to be coded or configured. Right? Number two, site reliability engineering is a specialized group of people who come from both DevOps and application development background and also design. So if you think most of the companies, what they do is they rename support engineers to SRE. That's what they do. And I'll tell you, that's not the good way of doing things. No. The best people in the company are normally the SREs. If you go to Google, if they have 4 rounds for a DevOps engineer, there will be 6 rounds for an SRE because they will be interviewed by not only DevOps people but also from application development, and they need to know 2 or 3 languages in and out, and they need to come from design application. Normally, the best architects and application are the people SRE. Platform engineering is a tooling department. What we call is developer relationships. So you have seen, I'm sure you have seen in the last 2 3 years developer relationships or those kind of roles. They also come from application develop, sorry, tools development, and but they are more T-shaped. They know a breadth of technology a lot, but they know depth only one or two. But site reliability are, they know a broad skills and they are depth in almost all of them. So it depends on number of. Normally, I would say a person with less than 5 to 6 years experience, it will be hard for them to qualify for SRE and platform engineering. So I would still go for DevOps engineer, and if you want to become an SRE or a platform engineer, you need to have application development background or at least good amount of self learning so that you can develop tools, so that you can look at the code and work as a team from an application development, because tools development is not about integrating, it's all about security tools integrating with your pipeline and templating them so that developers life to kickstart anything becomes easier. I hope this helps.
Yes, yes, sure. So we can say that we can start as a fresher. We can one can start from DevOps, then
Yeah.
they can move on to other with
Yeah,
experience.
but don't wait for 5 years. No, learn on the side, learn application development, and you'll automatically become an SRE or a platform engineer within a year. But it needs dedication and focus. One thing I always suggest is don't lose your focus. If you lose your focus, then it becomes quite a difficult thing. I spend 3 to 4 hours daily learning 2 3 things and then try to implement that on my sandbox. And if you use free TS from cloud, I'm sure you can do that. Or log in, set up the credit card for $10, which is what, 1,000 rupees. I'm sure a restaurant will be more than 1,000 rupees, and $10 is more than enough to set up a load balancer and define things and create things and then destroy them. Just make sure that you destroy them, else you'll get a huge bill. I'm in a meeting. I'll eat it later. Sorry, my good wife is asking whether I had lunch or not. Okay. Okay. Looks like Vijay had mic problem. Uh, right. It's now almost 10 minutes to go. So if anyone has any other question, they can type it in the chat window or they can ask by logging on to the thing.
One question, Guru.
Yeah, go ahead.
Coming to DevOps, the same question. There are different cloud providers like Azure, GCP, and Amazon. So, if you want to become a DevOps engineer, right, do we require to know all of these services in depth, or
No. Okay.
we can focus on the particular one like Amazon, right? So it is one
I
and
don't even say that focus on one cloud environment also. No. Cloud has nothing to do with DevOps, right? For example, I'm going to share my screen, right? Let me go back.
no, because if you talk about Amazon, right, it has its own AWS cloud pipelines, right? Cloud commit, something like that, right? From that
Yeah.
perspective, I'm talking.
Yeah. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Let me know if you're seeing the screen. Yes? Oh, no, actually, you won't be able to see the screen because I'm not sharing my screen. Right. Uh, so, what I'm saying is let's say you get a job in a company which does not use cloud. So you're saying that you won't get a job? No.
No, but at least for clearing an interview, you need to know on.
Uh, yes and no. So, see, my suggestion is you need to understand the why part, which I explained in my thing. Once you implemented one why, WHI, in any cloud, the fundamentals are the same. For example, in GCP, instead of using in let's say in AWS, you're using AWS code. In GCP, it's called Cloud Code. Ultimately, both are Git repositories. If you don't use them, if you use GitHub, it's the same. For CI, you can either use on-prem Jenkins or whatever, or GitLab, which is hosted, or you can use AWS Cloud Build. Sorry, right? It's called. And in GCP, there is something same. And if you want to orchestrate, there is pipeline in AWS, and AWS and Jenkins can do it for itself. But if you understand the DevOps lifecycle, you can correlate, and you can, when giving the interview, you can say, "Sir, I have not used AWS pipeline, but this is similar to this data Jenkins pipeline, which can you can do this thing." So because your fundamentals are clear, they will accept the answer because not everyone expects. There is nothing called perfect candidate. No, your fundamentals should be clear. You say, sir, ultimately, whether it is GitLab or something, it's creating an artifact, sir, which I'm going to store it as an image or into a Nexus or somewhere where it can be deployed with different configuration. That's it. So if you make them convince and say that, okay, I do not know this one, but I know this one is very similar to this one, which does the same. The syntax is a bit different. I can go and deploy that. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, thanks, Gopi.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions?
I also just want to add, Guru, in the Suraj's points about cloud. Like if like these three, all these three services are very similar. First of all, like GCP and Google, Amazon and Azure. So if you are able to just know about one technical, like one tech, Azure or GCP, so you can work on different processes. Like I just done with Microsoft Azure, so it's very easy to understand AWS also. Yeah, all are similar.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vishal. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So we are just round about perfect timing. We so I'm going to stop the Google Meet and I'm going to start. So thank you very much. This is my first video. I'm sure we.
Okay.
Oh, looks like Praful's wife is talking in the background, which is good. So
No, no, no.
Thanks for your time, Guru.
yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Akshay.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much,
much,
and
everyone.
Thank
have a
you.
good day, guys. See you then. Bye bye. And
Okay,
keep learning.
Bye.
Yeah, and keep learning. Bye bye.
sure, sure.